I really enjoy studying in the Division of Psychiatry. There's a lot of staff there who are really, really knowledgeable. So if there's something that I'm not sure about, everyone has always been really happy to have an email or to have a quick chat to clarify something. I found people really approachable and really good at explaining things to me. Someone who's not from a scientific background, I found it just as easy to understand, and I've been confident enough to ask questions and felt like that's okay.
It's really interdisciplinary, so you get a lot of epi people, medical people from medical fields, and psychology obviously, and just generally multiple different kinds of social sciences coming together, and you can really feel it in the lectures and also in how the modules are like provided, and also in the Division of Psychiatry itself. The common room's like right next to the offices, so whenever you have a question you can just literally drop by and ask a few questions, and so the atmosphere is very inclusive, and they do value you like as potential like future researchers, so they do give their time to you when you need it, and I feel like that's a really good atmosphere to be in.
Also really interesting because you get to meet different people doing different research that you would never see anywhere else, and you see how they're dedicated and how like they can implement that in like the real world, so that's interesting.
It's really great. You get such a diversity of people, different ages, and sort of that sort of ability to engage with people in different levels.
So the particular thing that I like about the Division of Psychiatry, that it's multidisciplinary. It's a little bit like working on a ward. You know, you've got people of all different backgrounds, and I find that really helpful. A lot of the lecturers that are part of the division are also consultants that I've worked with directly in my clinical job, so that's lovely to see what they do when they're outside of that environment. We've had lots of sort of get-togethers in the evening for other clinical students as well, and it sort of helped us to network and get involved with research that's happening.
So all the professors are really great and they're experts in their field. So if you like bump into them and you can have a really interesting chat with them. And it's really fascinating to just talk to them and get to know them, and the research that they're obviously really passionate about. So,
an ultimately positive experience, because I know from being told by other people I know of their experience with relationships with staff, for instance, in other departments, it has not been a particularly positive experience. They felt maybe the relationship there was no relationship. It was indifferent and detached, and perhaps they were just focused on the research and their own research, and the student-staff interaction was just secondary. But my experience has been really quite the opposite. I've really been grateful to have had staff, lecturers who are genuinely interested in your own experiences and your own well-being. They're completely approachable and open to you asking anything of concern for your own support. And when I first came, you know, my first sets of lectures, I was really quite basking in the appreciation for being in such an institution that was just evidently so brilliant. And I was so grateful for that, and the lecturers are just so inspiring, so proficient with their prowess of teaching, you know, and they are really at the vanguard of what they're doing, and so it's a real privilege.
So studying at UCL is like still to this day, it's like wow, like I'm here at UCL. I'm loving it. I was initially commuting and I found that actually quite difficult, so I wouldn't really recommend that to anyone. But I'm now living in London, so I'm able to study much more and concentrate much more, get more work done. Yeah, it's all really good.
UCL has been more intense than I thought it'd be. I came from a quite intensive undergrad as well, but UCL was kind of intense in a different way, and that might be because how the MSc is organized in terms like you have to do your research, you have to do presentations, you have to do clinical if you want to, and so it's been tough, but it's also very rewarding. And it being in London, being hustly and bustly, I come from, well, like my old uni was in a smaller town, so it's nice to be in an area that's a bit more, you know, busy and fun, and there's always something to do, and it's a lot like my hometown, Hong Kong, so it's quite nice to, yeah, feel like home, yeah.
Very different than Miami. I've always wanted to live in the city. It's very different, you see different people from all around the world, so I really enjoy that part.
I really enjoy studying at UCL. So I've never lived in a city before, which is a really big change for me. I've been to a campus university for my undergrad degree, so it is a bit different to that. But it's nice that my lectures are still within walking distance of each other. I can still get to everywhere I need to go without always going on the tube. But also I can kind of go out after lectures and go to an event or go out for coffee with people, which I really enjoy. And there's a few other things at UCL going on that we have the option to get involved with, which is really nice as well.
UCL is a really good school, and it's obviously everyone knows that it's a really good school. London itself, you know that you're going to get a lot of opportunities, and UCL is a good way to open new doors for you, especially within London and all over the world, to be honest, yeah.
I have been loving studying in UCL, being in London. Being in such a city where, okay, I understand lots of people might feel kind of small fish in a big pond kind of syndrome, and you know, I can empathise with that, but I also feel a kind of enchantment of being in such a city as London, and being the feeling that you're kind of part of something big and important. And while studying, it's very exciting because you really get you can really like mentally project as to your place in the world of academia if you are wanting to do that after your higher education. What's been specifically important for me is networking, and just being in London, you know, with academics and researchers that are top of the field, that are really trailblazers. I've been going to talks, like evening lectures, all around London, you know, up to like a couple of times every week, and that's actually quite a cornerstone of my like London university experience, because I'm then hearing all of these researchers about fascinating topics, about, for instance, lots of which are about psychiatric research, and so one of which I was just talking to afterwards, and now I'm on a placement with them. It's purely from attending one of these lectures and talking to them afterwards and applying to them, and now I'm on like, you know, a placement of my dreams, you know, and I had no idea if something of that ilk would have happened, you know, out with London.